So we got the 164 spoilers, and we're finally getting YUJI versus HIGURUMA, and there's instantly a twist in this fight, so let's get into it. HIGURUMA domain expansion. Instantly going right into this, and like I said, unexpected. I was just looking forward to seeing what this guy's curse technique is, but no, going straight into a domain expansion, and I think this guy has only had his curse technique as long as the calling game has been around, or a little longer than that. Maybe like, how long has it been? Like 2 weeks, over 2 weeks, something like that. He hasn't had his curse technique very long, or at least that's the implication here. And now he already has his domain expansion and has a pretty good grasp of understanding it seems. So I guess he's like speed running being a sorcerer. And I don't want to jump the gun on this guy, but this could be like one of the rare instances where like he can only use his domain expansion and not his regular curse technique. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know, it's just so odd that he's instantly going into the domain expansion. And I think that would be, you know, different and a little cool, maybe, I don't know. HIGURUMA uses his own domain expansion, which gives him the ability to force a trial. All right, interesting. So we assume that his curse technique, or I guess now domain expansion, would have something to do with justice or trials or something like this because of the way that his curse technique looks. It has like the, you know, the Lady Justice thing going on kind of. And also he's like a lawyer too, or was. So understandable that his domain expansion here is a mock trial. As mentioned, HIGURUMA's domain expansion is a must-hit only, that's trademarked for some reason, a domain expansion. During the flashback, nobody else appears except a single panel of Tengen. HIGURUMA's domain expansion sign, hand sealed, etc. is unknown. As domain expansions take lots of cursed energy, apparently that's why HIGURUMA's only a must-hit domain expansion to lower the difficulty. Okay, so let's try to break this down. So from the sound of this, it reminds me of like those domains that we've seen where there's like a gimmick to them, I guess. The whole must hit only thing. Notice it's saying that and not the whole thing where it's like a guaranteed hit or the other elements that we've seen like that. So this could be like the smallpox deity domain expansion, or it could be like that Kuchisaki curse that we saw in Gojo's past arc when Geto was going against Toji. Her domain expansion had like a gimmick to it where you like had to give the right answer. I think she said, I'm paraphrasing, but like, do you think I'm pretty or something like that? And Toji was like, you're not my type. And it seemed like if you weren't Toji, then you were gonna get your ears cut off or something else. So I'm guessing that this is gonna be like that. And also it's advantageous to HIGURUMA for the cursed energy aspect of it. And I guess this is clearing up the whole him getting the domain expansion so fast, because it says it's only a must-hit domain expansion to lower the difficulty. So he's not like an instant master, so I like that much. So thankfully we do have some more spoilers as to what's going on specifically in this sequence. So Hiromi activates domain expansion, which forces a trial on YUJI. One can stay silent or confess or deny the accusation made by Hiromi here. Already way more advanced than the Kuchisaki domain expansion, as to where, you know, she was just saying, am I pretty or whatever. This is a whole mini game to it. YUJI denies it by lying. But Hiromi knows the truth. Since he's found guilty, YUJI loses his cursed power. Hiromi attacks. And that's the end of the chapter? What? All right, before I go further, let me go a little more into that. So the accusation is YUJI went to go play pachinko at a certain point in time, and YUJI denies it by saying he went to the toilet. But Hiromi has photo evidence of YUJI exchanging coins to play pachinko. Thus, YUJI got found guilty and lost his cursed power. So cursed power here, I guess that means cursed energy. And obviously it's not killing him, so it's not like curse technique removal. I guess it's just reducing his cursed energy to 0 as part of like the game in this domain expansion. But also, like, how is he getting these photos? Is this like a part of the domain expansion as well? It could just produce snapshots of a past reality, unless HIGURUMA took these pictures beforehand. But either way, this is pretty interesting and I like it. It kind of reminds me of like the first act of the chapter Black arc of Yu Yu Hakusho. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Gege was inspired by that, because this is actually very similar to that, at least the setup of this arc. But aside from like random civilians awakening their powers and those parallels, this also kind of reminds me of the Taboo game that they play. No spoilers, but If you haven't watched or read the chapter Black Arc from Yu Yu Hakusho, you should go do that because it's fantastic. But anyway, like I said, I'm thinking that this reduces Yuji's curse energy to 0, meaning that I guess he's just going to have to fight Higuruma with just vessel strength. His augmented strength that was given to him by Kenjaku, allegedly to be a vessel for Sukuna. And then speaking of Sukuna, he could always show up in this fight, which maybe he will. I mean, if we're going off of how Gege has been using Sukuna throughout the series at this point, I don't think we'll see him so soon, at least in action. Maybe he'll like appear in Yuji's mind for like a couple panels and give him some advice maybe. But as for him like taking over Yuji or doing something that has a tangible effect on reality here, don't think we're gonna see that yet. I mean, obviously there's gonna be mass chaos and he's gonna be one of the main creators of it, but that's, you know, later on in this arc. We are only on his first boss battle here, so I'm thinking that Yuji might have to take care of this by himself without any real substantial assistance from Sukuna. Then lastly, it says Yuji tries to remember what Tengen told him before to help him out with the current fights. So I don't remember Tengen telling him anything specifically about Higuruma, like when they were having that whole group meeting before the culling game started, like around the chapter 145 range. But going back to the spoilers that we read earlier, it says during the flashback, nobody else appears except a single panel of Tengen. So I guess off panel, he did talk to Tengen about more stuff that was going to be involved in the culling game, stuff that we weren't able to see in 145 or 146 around there. So I guess he's going to be revisiting this memory, and Tengen is like, oh, by the way, you know that Higuruma guy? Well, he has this really elaborate domain expansion that he could just instantly do. So here's how you counter it. I mean, it's not going to be that in-depth because obviously Yuji's already messed up, but I'm assuming that this is going to be Yuji's way out here. Like whatever Tengen is going to tell him, it's going to be just vague enough for him to figure out how to overcome Higuruma here. But I'm liking this so far, and I'm looking forward to how it's going to play out. And also, we can't forget that Megumi is also in a similar situation right now, although we're not getting any updates on him in these spoilers. So I guess Gege might be like trading chapters between them possibly, or just trading entire fights. He might wait for Yuji versus Higuruma to entirely play out, and then we'll go over to Megumi's boss battle with Reggie. And I guess also Remy would be a part of it too, but I'm thinking that she's going to have a face turn maybe.
Hey, if you made it this far, maybe you'd be interested in following me on Twitter. I talk about all of the new battle anime and manga stuff and all the spoilers and pop culture things as well. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, please check out my Twitter. The link is in the description. Thanks, guys.
But yeah, that's pretty much for the spoilers. I wish we had more info, but unfortunately we don't. And I didn't see any panels or anything else like that either. So if you were able to get more info or see stuff that I didn't talk about in this video, please let me know in the comments. And also, what do you think about Higuruma's domain expansion? And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. See you in the next one.